Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to paint a very beautiful and simple Ganesha using acrylic paints. I'm using Menorah sketchbook as you can see here. I don't know why, but the day I received this sketchbook, I knew that I had to paint different types of Ganeshas in this. I have always been fascinated by different forms and the range of experimenting options Lord Ganesha provides us. And I am strangely very relaxed when I paint Ganesha. You can also find these tutorials. You can check this playlist and you can find some other easy acrylic tutorials as well. I will start by drawing the outline. I'm drawing freehand and I don't want it to draw right at the center of the page. Just to give it some drama, I want it to be a little bit towards the side. And here you can see drawn the face, the hands, using Natraj pencil. I'm using very light strokes. I don't want to draw it with too much pressure. I'm using very light stroke. Although acrylic colors are extremely opaque and it's really easy to just paint over them, their lines are not visible. This is a problem when you paint with watercolors. Sometimes the outlines or the grids tend to be visible. I'm using Fevicryl acrylic paints. You can see that I have different sizes bottles. And as far as brushes are concerned, I use different brands ranging from Faber, Kabir Art and lots of different. Another major requirement for acrylic paintings is water. Not only it is required for mixing colors or improving the consistency, it's also useful for cleaning the brushes. There are some techniques that I use or some tricks that I use when I'm painting, and that I'm going to share with you over here. I'm very clear that the Ganesha I want to paint has to be in blue and green color. So as you can see here for the ears, I'm starting by green color. I have started painting green. And rest of the ear I want it to be slightly with blue tint. So I'm repeating the same step on the other side. I'm using a flat brush because that is very easy to work with. And as you can see that I did not change my brush. I used the same brush which I used for green color for blue. And this is what you will see in rest of the video, that I'm not changing my brush because that dramatic change when the brush still has the previous color and some of the new color is something I want. So here you can see it's not entirely green and at the end there is a tinge of blue. I will complete most of the part of this painting using just this one brush. I'm again using green for the trunk, and here I only want bold green color. It is a personal choice, but I am more comfortable with flat brushes. You can definitely choose different brushes as per your convenience. It all depends on your comfort level. Here you can see that our trunk is complete. And now for the stomach part, I want to use blue, but again I did not change my brush or I did not wash my brush because I want that dramatic green to still be there. So what happens when you are doing this is that a slight tinge of previous color will still be there. That is certainly out of your hand because you would not be able to control where all that green will be visible, but certainly that dramatic change gives a very nice effect. Here you can see how blue and green are mixing together. In the ear region, green was the major color, so we only have a very light tinge of blue, and in the stomach range, the major color is blue and we have a tinge of green. Now for the legs, again I want to go with dark green. Actually two different shades of green. So from the top region I have started using one shade, as you can see here. Now I'll use a different shade for the rest of the legs and then beautifully merge them both. I'm being very careful that my edges come out neat. As you can see, I changed the shade of green here. From the lower end, I'm using a different shade, and at this moment you can clearly see the difference, but after using these long strokes in the entire region, you can see that the colors have blended very beautifully. Now there are two different shades of green. You can see I'm using long strokes. Same thing I will repeat on this side. One shade of green from the top and another shade from the bottom, and then long strokes to just mix them together. The best part about using flat brushes is that you can use the flat areas for wider sections, and if there is any section that you want narrow parts, then you can definitely use it sideways and it will give you the pointed sections. Now this is the first time I have cleaned my brush because I want to use an entirely different color, which is red. I'm using red for the top mukut section. Unfortunately, I realized it later that my hand was blocking the view. I'm just using the flat section of the brush and and there is no trick over here. Again, I will not be changing or cleaning my brush. For the central area, I will be using orange color, but I want it to have a very slight tinge of orange. So you can see I'm removing the excess red and I took orange. So as you can see here, it's different from red, but this orange still have a tinge of red in it. Since I'm painting the narrow areas, I'm using a smaller white brush. In this video, I wanted to emphasize on this particular technique that I use. I don't know if this is even a real technique or this is something I came up with, but I use this very often in many of my projects, and this is really convenient. Sometimes I do paint huge murals and they're just using one brush from starting till end. Not only do I love the effect that it produces, but it also saves a lot of my time. Next, we'll move on to drawing the hands and legs. Do let me know in the comments below if you would want to see more such tutorials. These comments let me know that it was useful and the time I have spent in making this tutorial, recording the video, editing it, uploading it was actually worth it. Now we'll start with the background. So for the background, I have a very messy look in my mind. I want to use all the different shades and colors that I have used in this painting, and they all will create a messy background for this Ganesha. So as you can see, starting with blue and then green, I'm using different shades. I just wanted to give a very blurry and messy background, and I'm using flat strokes for that. We'll use red and orange for the edges. Next comes my absolute favorite part of the entire painting. The tilak. There is one thing now left to do in this painting, and that is giving the Ganesha a black outline. I moved forward with painting the background because I wanted it to dry first. Now as you can see, again I'm using a flat brush for the outlines because I will be using different widths. Somewhere it will be narrow, somewhere it will be wide. So at some places I will be using the flat sections, and at some places I'll be using the narrow sections. You can see I started with flat, moved to narrow sections. So this is the best part about using a flat brush. You can easily paint different widths. You can see even in the ear, I used both frontwise and sidewise. For the fingers and toes, obviously I'll have to use a round brush because they are very narrow areas. And with this, our Ganesha is complete. Do let me know your thoughts in the comments below. That will keep me motivated, and I'll keep sharing new tutorials. And I'll see you in the next video.